Yes, welcome again. My name is MJB, and I will look at this book that we call Fathers of Nations and how effective it is when it is well analyzed by learners and educators. So, I will take an example of the first page of this book and how good it will be understood if you get to understand the right way to do the analysis, that is page by page. So I will first give a detailed guideline on how the learners should be understand this particular book the right way. So first of all, understanding this book will call for learners to just read on their own. That is silent reading. If you do not understand in the first reading, and that is also a must that you have to reread the book several times until you get to understand the flow of the entire book and how events unfold, that is from the beginning of the book to the end. So after reading as a learner, you will get a general idea of what the book is all about. So, with the teacher in class, you will be able to go through the book one by one, doing the analysis per page or per chapter, so that you can be able to understand the stylistic devices, the language use, as well as other features evident in the book. So, take an example of this first page. The first page, I will first read it as it is supposed to be done in class by learners together with teachers, so that from there I will be able to do a brief analysis of the features evident in this particular page. So the page begins where we are introduced uh, to four strangers checking in. So this is how it goes, that four strangers check in at Seamount Hotel in Banjul one evening. None of them knew of the other three or about being one of the four. And this would remain the case because unknowingly the hotel assigned them to different rooms on different floors in different wings. First check in was a man aged about 60 years. His hairline had retreated all the way back to his crown, but there it had held. No more hair loss. He had a strange habit of smacking his lips as he talked, appearing to shape each word first and to add voice to it only after. Arrival formalities required him to complete and sign a registration card at the hotel's front desk. He signed it as Karanja Kimani, professor in the Institute of Development Studies at the University of Nairobi, Kenya. The hotel gave him a room on the fourth floor of its east wing. Next to sign in was another man aged about 70. He had a bushy mustache, which in moments of speech wriggled over his mouth like a moth fighting to free its wings, then fly away. The man registered as Ngobile Melusi, comrade and citizen of Zimbabwe. In the blank his card had for his occupation, he defiantly wrote, "Not applicable." The hotel allocated him a room on the fifth floor of the south wing. A younger man, aged about 50, also checked in. Big and flabby, he looked like a frail sumo wrestler. However, this feature was not evident now. He had buried it under loose rooms, topped with one of those cone-like caps that always flop to the left side by design, note floor. Yeah, so that is the end of the first page. Now it is time that we go through the brief analysis of this particular page so that we can have a clue of how events unfold here and the author's expectation as well as message to the society. So first of all, uh, these strangers check in. It is normal that in an hotel, that is hospitality industry, where there is accommodation, there is a formality that is followed when guests come in or check in. This formality requires that whenever guests arrive, they do what we call registration, and that is checking in before they are assigned to the rooms where they're supposed uh, to stay for that period of time where when they are likely to be there. So as these four strangers check in, they are given different rooms at different wings. So they do not, even the hotel doesn't realize that these are people from the same organization. Even though they come in at different times, none of them knows of the other three. As we are told, there are four. Even the hotel itself is not aware. The hotel is not aware of these guys, whether they are from the same organization, and that is why it assigns them different rooms at different floors and different wings. If they would have known that these guys come from the same organization, then the hotel would have decided to give them the same floor and the same wing so that they can sleep next to one another. But now they are assigned different floors as strangers. And that is what happens in an hotel where uh, each and every guest is just treated as a stranger because they have never introduced themselves or they never introduced themselves when they arrived as coming from one organization. So in this particular page, we have various themes evident, also have uh, stylistic devices which are evident also. So to begin with, I will be able to look at the themes. Uh, the theme that is evident here, as we are told of the first man to arrive. This first man, whom we are told that is aged about 60 years old, and his hairline had retreated all the way back to his crown, that no more hair loss. This must be an old man, and we are told that he is from Kenya, a professor in the Institute of Development Studies at the University of Nairobi. So this is an evidence of the theme of education. There is this theme, it is clear here because we are told of a professor in the education sector. So that shows exactly that there is evidence of this particular theme, the theme of education. And as we go by, we are also told of hotel industry where these guests check in, and this is an hospitality industry, so there is evidence of the theme of hospitality because it is in hospitality industry where guests are welcomed. They are welcomed and given good service as well as good welcome so that they can enjoy and feel home away from home. So that theme of hospitality is also evident here because of the way guests are welcomed here. As we go by, we can also identify in this particular page that we have similes. The first one in the second last paragraph, the paragraph that begins to with next to sign in was another man aged about 70. He had a bushy mustache, which in moments of speech wriggled over his mouth like a moth fighting to free its wings, then fly away. So this is a simile. And whenever you identify a simile in a text, it is so crucial that you also understand its effectiveness in the context at which it is used. Like this one now, uh, that in moments of speech, we are told that he had a bushy mustache, which wriggled like like a moth fighting to free its wings, then fly away. So this one shows it shows how old this man is, and this one is Ngobile Melusi, comrade and citizen of Zimbabwe. So this particular simile, the effectiveness is that it shows how old the man is, because we are told he's aged uh, 70 years, about 70 years. So the simile shows how old he is. And the second simile that is evident here is in the last paragraph of this particular page, the first page. The page that begins with a younger man aged about 50 also checked in. This man is younger. We are told that big and flabby, he looked like a failed sumo wrestler. So that is the simile. And this simile, the effectiveness is it shows how huge this man is, because we are told exactly how he appears to be huge, and the simile also shows the extent at which he is huge and very big, and despite the age being 50 years. So this particular page introduces us to what follows in the next pages of this particular book. That as the guys check in, later on they come to realize that they came in the same hotel at different rooms and different wings and at different times. As we go by, we'll be able to get that there's a stranger also who calls each one of them to introduce them to that particular place, and also show them that he will be their guide. And the guy is not well known to them, but later on they come to realize that he is Dr. Afolabi. That one comes later, not exactly the same time when they arrive. So this particular page is very brief and very short. We can also look at some character traits using the individuals that we are introduced to. We can talk of the first one, that is Professor Karanja Kimani. We can talk of a trait here that we are told Professor Karanja Kimani, whenever he talks, he smacks his lips and also shapes each and every word before he can utter or before he can speak any word. He has to shape a word very well. So we can give him a trait here. We can say that he is we can talk of he is he is so keen. Yeah? He is keen because he cannot utter a word before shaping it very well. He has to shape the word, if it is the word smack, for example. He has to shape the word so that whoever does not understand can understand smack. He has to speak the word the way it should be, following the language rules. And that is why we say that he is keen, because he cannot just speak anyhowly. We can also give him more other traits, but that is just but an example of one of the traits that we can give him. In addition, we also told of another guest, and that is Ngobile Melusi, that is aged about 70, as we are told, and has a bushy mustache. So he registered as Ngobile Melusi and is a comrade and citizen of Zimbabwe. We are told that he wrote not applicable in where he was supposed to register about his occupation, and he was allocated a room as well. So we can give him a trait as careless, because he doesn't care. He's careless. By registering his occupation as not applicable, and yet he has an occupation, that could mean careless, as well as it could also mean that he is secretive, because maybe he doesn't want to expose himself of who he is to the hotel. Yeah. So up to now, that is what we can identify, although we have many other traits that we can give these guys. So what about the third person to check in? And that is Chineke Chamaka. So we are told that Chineke Chamaka looked like a failed sumo wrestler, and he had buried it under loose ropes, topped with one of those cone-like caps that always flop to the left side by design, not flow. Uh, but when we can go further to the next page is when we can get most of his traits. But the first one we can give here is uh, as we are told, is somehow is not doesn't want to show most of his behaviors publicly. He doesn't want to expose them. We can also call him a secretive man. He's secretive because of how he behaves, not not willing to show his character and how he looks like openly. Yeah. So this particular page is brief, as I stated earlier, and for more analysis of this book and other books, ensure if you have not subscribed to my channel, you subscribe Malim Jeff Bama channel, and also like and comment my videos so that we shall move together. Thank you so much. God bless you.